Child, that's how them people was over there dancing at that daggone party, baby. I don't know what was going on. Everybody was off rhythm. I was like, what is happening? What is the music? Is the music that we are getting not the one they're listening to? Okay, what's happening? Did not get the copyrights? Did we not get the copyrights? Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. I hope that y'all week is starting on a good already because child, it's going down in Martha's Vineyard once again. I said it. This is going to be a season, baby. This is going to be a season, but this is only episode 2, and the people is already peopling. Okay, child, we are back. And I'm glad you guys are with me. Hopefully, I'll be joined with our other 2 fellas. You guys know, if you know Sean Unfiltered already, you already know what that's about, okay? And Coach, yeah, I don't know what's happening, okay? The fellas are following, all right? I guess they are taking a book out of Nick, Alex, and Amir's chapter, and it's going to be on time when they want to be, all right? But for us that are here, you know, we here, baby. We here. Oh, so let's get on with the introductions. Welcome back to another round. We are here to have a good time and maybe for a long time, baby. The bar is open over here, so we're going to do our thing. We're going to get into it. If you are joining us for the first time, go ahead and find you a seat, baby. Make yourself at home, okay? The bar don't close until I leave. When I get out, I get out. All right. You know what I'm saying? But up until then, we can drink away. We can drink away. Okay. I'm here with you. All right. So do me a favor. Hit the like button. Share with a friend if you have not already. Subscribe. You know, why keep coming into a bar and establishment that you ain't even subscribing to? Just come on and subscribe so you can get them notifications when they pop up and you know why we here, okay? Be here, be with the family. Come and engage. Come in the chat. And if you in the chat, you already know what to do. I accept all hearts, you know what I'm saying? But likes are better because those are my tips now. Like the channel. Those are my tips. That's all I ask, baby, all right? Come on in here. Come on here. Hey, El Sid. Hey, Ari. You know I'm going to mess up your name, so I'm just going to you. Hey, Bean. Hey, Bean. You know I'm going to mess it up. You're going to have to help me pronounce it one of these days, okay? Just Rhonda. Hey. Jay Say So has said, what's up, baby? You going to bring? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. At least one of my men show up on time. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing like a man that show up on time, baby. You know, that's one thing I got from a daddy. If you 5 minutes before time, you technically late, baby, okay? You know. Hey, Taronda, I ain't seen you in a minute, babe. Where you been, girl? Been hiding out. All right, Ari's gonna work for me because you know I love me some Ari Fletcher. She a beautiful woman, and you know you're a light-skinned Ari Fletcher, okay? You might be able to sing too, mama. I got you. T-Hoo, how you doing, baby? Welcome on in. Shoot. Child, tell him, El Sid. Tell her. You know what I'm saying? Wear a good suit and on time. Baby. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Come on in here. Hey, Kay Calloway. Get on in here, child. Because you know, whew, the people in the vineyard. I hope they keep the vineyard in one tack, okay? We trying to have some Black Girl Magic wine. All right. You know. Oh my days. Let's not get into the smells, baby. If you can find a smell that works for your body. Listen, I would suggest colognes, but not every cologne works for everybody's natural aromas. So if you find one that works good with your body, and I'm gonna tell you the trick that I be trying to tell my daddy, but he don't be wanting to listen to me. Don't get the one that enters the room before you do. Get the one that is just strong enough that when they pass you, it pulls them back to get a second whiff of you. Okay. My daddy keep wanting the one that enters the room before he do. I don't know why he want to repel the people. You know what I'm saying? There very, very few people like that, you know. Very few. I don't know what they be thinking. I don't know. Hey, greetings to you. Greetings to you to go Africa. I need to get out there too, child. You know, your name is reminding me I need to get my butt on out there one time. Yeah, you can get the body oils, but the men's don't be knowing about the body oils like that. You know what I'm saying? You can get you a good beard oil too. Get you a good beard oil. That's the one. That's the one. Oh, sorry. They asking for the link, child. I gave it the link yesterday. You know, when the group chat gets the group chat, but chatting, child, the links be disappearing. Hold on. Let me make sure that they got it. I know Sean just sent it to him, but I'll make sure that is going through. Give me 1 second. Hey, Drowsy. I see you out there. Let me make sure my guys got the link. They coming on through because we got to talk about it. No. All right, I'm back. Yep. I'm gonna keep that in mind, El said, when they get here, okay? Child. But we're gonna talk a little bit before they get here. We're gonna get into a little bit. So this is, of course, is season 2, episode 2, and it is still 2 of 15. And baby, they're barely cut. I guess all the conversations that's done have being had on the catamaran because now we are turned up and being lit on the boat. Everybody is twerking off beat. I'm gonna chalk it up to the alcohol in the waves, baby. The alcohol in the waves got the people off beat, and that's just what it is. I'm just gonna say that's what it is. Okay. They are they on the ride home and they split up into 2 cars, and we have a conversation about the sex of it all. And of course, Alex gonna claim he ain't had none in 4 weeks. I was like, I'm not sure about that. You know what I'm saying? You want to tell me that you ain't had none in 4 weeks, sir? The way he switched that conversation so fast, that let me know that
lies. There you go. This bitch.
Was a lie. Okay. I was like, boy, you had it about 4 hours before you got on this trip. That's what it sound more like. Child, listen, stop trying to please Noel. She is not worried about you and your things going on unless it got to do with summer, okay? Child, but I let them have it. But Miss Cherise, baby, okay, she give me Ashley. Y'all know Ashley from Potomac? That's what she be giving me. She be giving me Ashley from Potomac. A little bit like a little young Ashley, because she was like, she all for it. She all for the sex in every which way possible, baby. You know, let me know when you're ready, coach. I'll bring you up. But I was like, okay, Sharice. Hey, Raven, come on in. I like, hey, Sharice. Okay, you for the sex and you about it anytime, anywhere, like Janet Jackson, baby. Okay, get it in. Get it in when you can, all right? Let me get Coach. Coach, you ready? All right. I'll let you up. So the night's dinner is basically decades night. Dinner for the decades. They have to wear their best fit, and we're gonna see how they get up into that. When they get back to the house, Summer is the first one to recognize that Jasmine is preggers. No figure, you know what I'm saying? It's like, child, y'all should have known this already, but y'all been avoiding the girl for so long. Y'all didn't even pick up that, you know, her lame excuse change for why she ain't drinking. Because first it was Alex who motivated her not to drink anymore or whatever. And then it was because at a party she just didn't feel well and didn't feel like drinking. What it gives me is at that party she tried to have a drink or something to eat and she got thrown up everywhere at the party. Listen, it had to happen to me in the time I was with my daughter. So I understand, child. That's the day I stopped drinking too, because baby, I couldn't get it in no more either. All right, it was a wrap. It was a wrap from there. The drinking had to halt because my body was like not taking it. It didn't take a lot at that time. So she said her boobs is boobing. And yeah. And I stand corrected last week. I said they didn't have a pool. Found out they got a pool. I was wondering why Shanice was in the bathing suit every 5 seconds. They got a pool. And I actually like the layout of this house now. I got to figure out what house this is because we might have to rent this out. My LBB people, I hope y'all listening to me. We might have to rent this place out, okay? Because it looked like a little spot. They had games and everything up in there. So I know we agreed that we wasn't doing no Airbnbs no more, but we lied, okay? We lied. We lied, we lied, we lied. And if y'all see there's a poll in the chat, let me know. I'm gonna check the poll here in a second so I can see how y'all doing on who is team brunch and who is team workout. Child, not y'all. Let me see something. Oh, y'all not none of there. None of y'all team workout. Y'all leave me the heck alone or team brunch. Child. That. You know what, Sean? I'm not about to do with you in the bunk beds, okay? If there's bunk beds there, that's where you will be staying, okay? Because automatically I'm getting my own room. I am the eldest child. I will get my own room. That is all it is, all right? All right, let me bring Coach up. Let me bring you up. Hey. How you doing?
What's Gucci?
Stuff in your face.
Like I'm on a brunch.
Oh, you team brunch too, not team workout?
Listen, I'm gonna get that brunch in. If it's in America, I'm gonna get that brunch in. We can gym whenever we need to. I'm ready to talk about this episode. Talk to me, because I'm ready to talk. Because there's some stuff that are going on.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on. There's a whole lot going on. Okay.
There's a whole lot.
I was just covering with the people that, Summer is the first one to recognize that Jasmine is pregnant. So we're going to rule her. We don't have to worry about her for the rest of the summer. Silas has did his job as making sure that her summer without him will not be as fun. Okay. No hot girl summer for her. Sit your behind down somewhere and enjoy the alcohol-free mimosas.
They really know what it is.
All right. Let's get Preston out the way and his situation with his father, because he had said that he
I just say some stuff.
Yeah, he said he kind of felt relief that when his father passed. It's a weird thing to feel that way, that your father passed and you're kind of okay with that or whatnot. And he's also okay with the fact that he didn't go to the funeral.
Yeah. I mean, listen, look, I get it, man. Especially obviously the fact that, I know he's obviously, his orientation being gay, and then, your father not showing that support, distancing himself from you. Relationships are, you heard me say this before, but the emotional connections are the bedrock of any relationship, whether it's fathers and sons, whether it's boyfriend and girlfriend, whether it's husband and wife, whether it's, emotional connections are paramount. And one of the ways that you kind of build your emotional connection is through those experiences and the times that you guys share, and the ability to be able to share some of those intimate moments, right? Like maybe some of the fears and anxieties that Preston was actually going through, at the time, maybe he wanted to share that with his father, but had no father to back him up, no father to, support him, no father to lean on, no father to, be able to support him in the decisions that he made, and so, when it comes to his father's funeral, he's already grieved that relationship. Therefore, when it comes to the funeral, he's not grieving him again. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't need to, because you haven't been there physically. And it's such a sad thing to say. And I think anybody who's out there, future endearing parents like myself, maybe one day, and those who are, one of the key things you never want to mess up is your kids. Like you never want to get to a point where they don't want to ever see you at your funeral and be like, I don't even want to go. Like at that point, if your kids are at a point where they don't want to go to your funeral, it's too late to ask questions because you're in the grave. But it means that something's gone wrong, right? Greatly wrong, because you've created a space where you've disconnected your kids from yourself, and that's not to say that you have to be perfect. We're not asking parents to be perfect at all. We're just saying that there are tough seasons and tough times where there may be a time where you need to separate. But things like this, where the person is gay or doesn't follow your necessarily the way, that path that you necessarily want, doesn't require you to separate from your child. My last 2 points on this is funny because I went to visit my dad on a weekend, and I was just like, Dad, just bestow your blessing on me. He's like, I've already bestowed my blessing on you. I said, yeah, but I'm actually asking for it now, because in former years, I was a bit more rebellious. I didn't really care what you said. I'll do what I do, okay? But now I'm actually at an age where I'm listening to you, and I actually want to actually hear what you got to say, and I actually want to be able to take into account and weight into what you actually say. Once that starts happening, it's because I'm building the emotional connection back up again with my parents. So I'm starting to care about what you actually say in my life. It holds some type of weight. So, just to put out there, and the last thing, the story of the prodigal son is a story of a son that goes out and then has to come back. But he comes back. The father's always waiting for him. And so parents should always be in a space where they are always waiting for that child to come back. And it's unfortunate that Preston didn't get to experience necessarily that I think it was towards the end. I don't know if he said they kind of meshed things up a little bit towards the very, very end. But, it's a shame that wasn't done earlier, because that kind of support from his father that was unconditional would have been so powerful in those moments as well.
There's something you said a little bit earlier in that statement, and it also ties into something I read earlier. You only get one shot to raise your child correctly. So make the most of it, and, spend the most time with your child. And it also goes back to what Preston said when he had that one engagement with his father, I believe pretty early on, when he was trying to, convey to his father that, hey, I am of the community. This is my lifestyle or whatever. And his father returns, well, I didn't raise a gay son. So Preston follows back, well, you didn't raise me. And I think probably there started the tension that he did have some more. It restarted it. Let me say it like that, restarted the tension, because it's like, I'm actually trying to come to you, now in this season where you haven't been with me all this time, and tell you a bit of information about me. Right now is me sharing myself with you so you can get to know me today. And you're now rejecting me by saying I didn't raise this type person. So in Preston's defense, he rejects him back, saying you didn't raise me. And I've had this own engagement kind of like with my biological one time before, where we had a whole back and forth. We were going back and forth, and she gets into that spirit of, well, I'm your mother. You can't this, that, and the third or whatever. And it's like, no, you're the woman that had me, but you didn't raise me. That was somebody else that did that, so you can't come in and take credit. So I kind of get Preston in those moments, whereas I'm trying to build this relationship starting today. We cannot go into the reverse of where you were never at and try to have that relationship from there, and still you get the rewards of the things you've never done. I'm trying to give you the reward of being in my life now. So let's just go from here and try to see where we can go. And you do have those parents that just refuse to understand that nature is like, that ship have sailed. We cannot go back to a childhood of relationship of you're the parent, I'm the child. We don't have that. We're two adults who are linked to each other biologically. And somehow I still want to have that bond with you. And it reminds me of a thing that my stepmom used to tell me all the time is, and I think that's what Preston probably suffered from a little bit. I'm not really sure. I would have to ask him if we ever get an interview. But for me, it was, my stepmom used to tell me, she was like, your mother could never do no wrong to you. And my thought was, she's already did that. The day she abandoned me, that's the worst thing she could have did to me. So yes, she cannot do any more wrong to me from this point on, because I've closed that door. It doesn't mean that she's right in the things that she does or whatever. It's just that I'm a bit distant from her now, that it doesn't affect me to say that she's doing me wrong or hurt me. So, yeah. But good for him to be able to celebrate his dad's funeral with his friends, and not too much drama went on that boat. But speaking on these boat conversations, Jasmine and Jordan, I guess, had some type of closure on their conversation on the boat about the distance and the, I guess, the treatment that she was feeling from last year. Is Jordan and Summer.
I don't know why I didn't see it.
No, because they wrapped it up on the last episode, but it was a recap a little bit from Jordan's perspective.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jordan.
I don't know if
it was her and who did she tell?
Damn, let me go back into that quickly and see what the hell. How did I see it?
Who she was talking to?
At the very beginning, it must have been.
It was in the very beginning, and I don't think she was directly talking to her. She was talking to Bree. I think she was talking to Bree.
What did she say?
So they were
basically
he was basically saying that they just kind of just agreed to leave it where it is, agreed to be cordial for the rest of this trip, and try to move forth from their disagreement of last year and how they both were. Because I do remember they did showed a little recap of something that stuck out to me that Jasmine said, and Jasmine was basically saying that she was surviving last last season, last summer, and I'm like, you're surviving through a marriage. That doesn't sound good, especially at the beginning of a marriage. And so I didn't quite get what she meant by that comment, that she was changed because she was surviving. And I'm like, you shouldn't change for a marriage to that degree that you're surviving, especially so early off, nor should you be changing for your friends just because you got married. And I get it. And then I get it, Jay say, so you're saying it right now, married behavior versus single behavior. But however, even with that transition, if you have a friend that understands you and knows you, they're not going to judge you because you're now married and say, hey, you're different or whatever. She came different. That's the thing. Jasmine came being different. And I don't know. I don't know. I didn't get Jordan being jealous of her being married or upset that she was married. I mean, I could still go back to they got married in the pandemic and maybe Jordan wasn't aware. And that might have hurt her a little bit, but she still hasn't said anything on that part. So I'm not really sure. But these ladies seem to agree to disagree or agree to just leave it be for the remainder of the trip. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. What you think?
Well, I didn't get to see it, but let me just give an overall view of it. I mean, if she did say anything about surviving, it could be that she's struggling to be able to weigh up, both aspects, when it comes to her time being spent in terms of friendship and her time being spent in terms of the marriage. And maybe she's struggling to find really her balance. And so it feels like she is, surviving in that marriage. But I think also as well that, anybody dating or marrying somebody whose job requires them to be away from the home considerably is always going to be a challenge, and it's always a change because that person is away from you for months on end. And so you don't have that physical intimacy that you would like and want, that you would, you would be able to be comfortable with. And maybe that's why she feels like she's surviving. Maybe she didn't realize just how difficult it would be in married life, having to be, to be, no one, plans necessarily or thinks how hard it might be having a regular schedule of missing the person that you're meant to be with. You know what I mean? Like that the person's not there with you. They're not always in your space. They're away from you. Yes, you talk to them, but they're not there. And I think as human beings, sometimes we can find it very difficult. And maybe that's why she's also surviving. Maybe she's also having some time to reflect, being on your own so much, but in a relationship. Maybe you're starting to really reflect on whether your relationship or your marriage is something that you actually want. Because now you're seeing that you may be feeling like you're married but single. You know what I mean? And I always find it intriguing, these type of relationships where people go away, because I'm like, you really got to be strong. You really got to know yourself. You really got to be able to be somebody who's probably got a strong ecosystem in terms of friendship. This ain't for those of us who don't do friendships easy. I don't think you should be getting into any kind of marriage where your partner leaves you on a regular basis. I'm not built for it. Okay, all right. I'm a soloist. Okay, so don't leave me for 3 or 4 months. Okay, all right. I'm liable to feel some way. So I'm saying that I think you got to know yourself, and I think sometimes even when love is presented to you, you got to really know whether you can handle that. And honestly, that is very tough scenario to be in. So I don't want to hit Jasmine over top of the head of that. But maybe she's struggling to find her feet in terms of maybe she's also feeling like, how do I even present myself to my friends now? You know what I mean? Like, this is not what I thought it was. You know what I mean? Marriage is supposed to be this magical moment for a lot of women. It's meant to be this great pinnacle, this milestone, this beautiful, kind of point in your life where things are supposedly meant to change for you, and you become this princess. So then, how do you then kind of like present yourself to your friends after you realize okay, it's not as pretty as it looked. Yeah, it's not as pretty as it looked. And also, again, we know that he's a bit controlling. Maybe she's also having some aspects to herself now. She's realizing there's some parts of the relationship that are not great, but maybe she doesn't know how to tackle it. Then how do I also go to my friend and tell them this? Because if I go and tell you this, are you liable to tell me that I told you so? Because that ain't going to help my situation right now. I want solutions. I don't need I tell you so, and I don't need a look that tells me I told you so, or a look to say, well, baby, you know, we know he's controlling. I don't need that right now. I'm early in my marriage. I've just started. I've just got, you know. So maybe she's feeling a little bit claustrophobic and feeling a bit locked into her situation, which is why she's surviving. It's like she hasn't found the answer in order to thrive just yet. And maybe she'll figure out, maybe she won't. But she's going to also have to be very open as well and actually reach out to her friend, because you're going to need your friend. So you need to reach out to your friend. Jordan is single, okay? She got things to do. You ain't. But you got to reach out to your friend, you know? Yeah.
And Katie M brought up a good point, and I'm gonna bring Sean up to elaborate on this because he did watch the Winter House season. She said, seeing Jordan's behavior on winter season makes me question her character. Wanting your friend to remain stagnant is scary, and I would advise Jasmine to watch the behavior moving forward. Let me bring Sean up to elaborate because maybe he can help us with how she was behaving on Winter House. Hey, Sean, how are you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, Jay? What's up, Coach? I'm good. Yeah, no, I think that at the end of the day, I think we got more context on Jordan. I'll say this episode, which I was glad to see, and kind of maybe why she's behaved the way she's behaved. But she's always had an attitude, in my opinion. You know, she's had an attitude on Winter House. You know, it's almost like that. I'm a pretty girl, but I want attention, but I don't want attention. And then when she doesn't get attention, whether it's from men or whether it's from her other friends, she kind of lashes out a little bit. Now, I will say, last season of Summer House, Jasmine was pushing like for all her single friends to be in relationships because she wanted company on a marriage tour. So I do understand, you know, how Jordan could have, you know, just kind of wanted some distance from her because she was always like, oh, are you with somebody? Are you with somebody? Or let's, you know, hook you up with this person in the house. She was like pro relationships. And you know, it was kind of, you know, off-putting because if one, you're not feeling the person, one, you're not in a space where you're really looking to be in a relationship, it can be annoying if your friend just keeps pushing people on you. So that was one component of that. But Winter House, I think Jordan kind of, you know, she was sliding down the wall because there was a dude that she want, a white dude, you know, it was a white dude, wasn't a brother, but you know, there was a dude on there that she kind of had a little crush on, but it turned out that he was kind of talking to somebody. And then another one of the girls that he was good friends with was being like friendly, but like a bro, but like flirty. And then she just crashed. She totally crashed. So she was, I don't know how to really, you know, put it, but sometimes she could be that person that's attention seeking, but like, you know, somebody that wants attention, then once they get a little bit of attention, then they crash out because they just want to keep you at arm's length. So that's kind of like how her personality is to me.
Thank you for that update. Yeah. Speaking of Jordan and what she's dealing with, and maybe what's happening with her personality and why it has been the way it has, because let's be honest, something about her attracted Jasmine in the first place. And Jasmine, that was her best friend going into season one. You know, that was her closest Playboy bunny mate. And they were thick as thieves at one point. So there's some good to Jasmine. And maybe this hair alopecia situation that she is dealing with, maybe that has put some anger with inside of her that is now trickling out and lashing out onto everybody else. You know, listen, for women, our hair is our crown. And I can imagine this happens. She said it started about 5 years ago when she had got a perm, and it basically burnt to her scalp. And since then, she's been dealing with the alopecia. So I can imagine if these changes have been within the last 5 years, I can see why she has such an attitude to a lot of things in life a lot of times, because now I'm going through a major change of having to hide parts of me when beauty was my aspect. You know what I'm saying? So that's a major thing to deal with. What are you guys' thoughts on this situation that she is currently going through? I know you brothers don't have to worry about the balding thing because it's a choice for y'all.
Listen,
That's Sean.
I, I don't know about a choice. I know plenty of people hanging on, struggling. You gotta, I can empathize, but women, it's just totally different. Because men traditionally, when they lose their hair, they can be bald, and it's generally accepted, as okay for the most part. So, but no, that it definitely gives me some color to why she may act the way she does. I think somebody said it in the comments. I believe it was El Cid was like, that's why she pushes people away. And that could be true, right? Because that could add to an avoidant way. Like, hey, I want you to I want you to see me as beautiful. I want you to be attracted to me. But when it gets to an intimate place, um, I'm a little scared because I might get revealed. Now, she's been a little real touchy about her hair. We know sisters, you got to be a little cautious about where you touch their hair and how you maneuver that whole situation. So I think maybe that's why she's on that part of her journey and just trying to find herself, find her comfortability. And I think this hair care line, or I don't know if it's wigs or whatever. I think that's going to be so good for her to build, just kind of continue to build her confidence, make her comfortable in who she is, and then also kind of like, without telling people are going to kind of know if that's something that's public, that you don't have to start like telling everybody individually. They'll kind of know, and then maybe enter into your situation with some sensitivity, similar to what Jada Pinkett, unfortunately, that instance when Chris Rock made that crude joke and it sparked off the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock foolishness. Then she kind of said she had alopecia. So at that point, the world knows. So it kind of just helps people to understand. Don't go touching her hair. Don't go doing things that are going to make things go left.
I mean, listen, I appreciate her bravery because, listen, that ain't no joke. That ain't easy. And so, especially as a woman, the crown on her head is her hair, so, I totally understand, the difficulties she faced. I'm glad that she got to, monetize it a little bit as well too, though. Your pain can be monetized a little bit, that she gets a sponsorship deal, but she also gets to bring awareness as well. I thought it was very brave. I thought it was, something that, because it reminds us a little bit about the Jada situation. She said she was having alopecia too. So, just to see that obviously that it does affect people in a very difficult way. I don't know who she was talking to. Was that her father that she was talking to? Oh, that's not a man. But yeah, look, yeah, talking to her father. Obviously,
She was her dad.
I was like, please. He married you for your youth. This might be a problem, but no. No. All jokes aside, I did really feel like she really handled that situation quite well, and she explained herself quite well as well. But I do understand that it can be very difficult to go through something like that, and I would never want that to be anybody's situation. And again, I don't know how she'll explain it to the house as well, because like Sean said, you don't want to be monkeying around and you've got that wig on because you don't want people to see, and two people and the rest of the room will be embarrassed. Not embarrassed, but they'll be hurt, because if somebody does something stupid like pull on hair, now if you're black, we shouldn't be pulling any woman's hair, okay? Let that be a lesson to any man out there. Please don't pull any woman's hair, okay, without any request being made and being granted. But no, that could turn into a situation. So when it's hanky panky. So, but no, back to what I was saying to her. She's a brave woman for doing it, and I appreciated her using her voice to highlight and bring awareness to the topic.
Yes, kudos to her, and kudos to the deal that she has going forth. It is not an easy thing to go through. I know people, I don't know nobody dealing with alopecia, but I do know people with receding hairline, generational. I know people that also have gone through chemo and had to lose it that way. It's not easy. It's not easy. You know, child, they mess up your hairline as a man. We know how y'all fuss. So imagine going to get your hair done and somebody cuts too much. I've had that happen to me before, or somebody literally burn your scalp or whatever and stuff. So to have this happening to you and there's nothing you can do about it, it's very hurtful, and it breaks your bit of your confidence, that natural confidence that you have. And like Sean said, you start to push people away because you don't want to be intimate with them anymore. You don't want to reveal that part of you because you're afraid now that they may turn away from you because of that. So I'm glad that she's in a space where she's comfortable enough to open up and share and possibly help some others that are going through that transition themselves be comfortable with it going forth. And I want to give a quick shout out to our newest members on both channels. Thank you, Rana, for subscribing to both me and Little Black Book's channel. We appreciate you very much. Much love to you. Hope you love it here in these memberships, child. We be wilding out, so you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. But yeah, I hope that it does work out for her. And with all this touchy feeling that Nick seems to be doing, hopefully he ain't the one that accidentally knocks it off her head before she get a chance to reveal it to everybody else what she's dealing with. So hopefully she'll get to reveal her situation a lot sooner so they can be a little bit more sensitive to her needs as they go through. But since I done brought up Nick and his hands that he can't keep to himself, my guy might have to stop drinking. I'm sorry. He might have to stop drinking or just be single, because we talked about it last week, Shad, when he was taking their photos and you put your hand here, he was right hand here, left hand there. He was twisting it up all over the place. And now again, this week, it wasn't just his hands, but his eyes and damn near his face was in everybody's cheeks. So I was like, sir, I know you said you got a comfortable woman at home, but you hit her last season and now you doing the most this season. I don't know how comfortable she could possibly be and how she gonna be after seeing this. Well, what are y'all thoughts to Nick and his loose fingers? No, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead, Coach. It's your topic.
Listen, you know what? Listen, the problem isn't the loose fingers. The problem is you don't know your market. And that's the problem. You see, the problem is never the loose fingers. Yeah, knowing your market is the issue. I mean, if these ladies were, appreciated that kind of touch, he wouldn't be having this conversation. They're having a conversation because Nick ain't that guy to them, and also because there's a tie to Tasia as well, which I think the ladies, I don't know how much they care about her, but clearly her name is on their lips a little bit. So they're just saying he's very handsy. And the problem I have with it is that you're opening your girl to being ridiculed. And you're doing this on national television. So you ain't even got the decency to be behind the scenes. You're doing this on national television. You can't even be a bastard behind the scenes. You're going to be bastard in front of the TV too? Yeah. We don't call it sarcasm. We call it stupidity. At this point, it's like... So I think with Nick, I'm looking at him going... the reason why he's so touchy is because it's not just because he's a flirt. He actually is trying to get something. Like when I saw the flashbacks from, I think, last season, I know summer was on his lips. It made a bit more sense why he was asking about the rebeat situation with Alex as well. He's overly invested, and the reason is because really and truly he fancies at least one of them, summer at least, and has got away with certain behaviors with the ladies because they've not been so vocal. I'm not saying that I don't think they feel necessarily that they are uncomfortable per se, but they definitely look at him like, And my issue is this. I think that's worse. I think their reaction's worse. And I'll tell you why. At least if they say, you know where you stand. Yeah? When they go, it means you are a grass snake and you don't bite. And they don't really give a heck. You do what you want. We don't look at you that way. You can't hurt us. We don't feel like you can. We don't think you're nasty. You're indifferent, and that's even worse. I'd rather you be black or white. I'd rather you hot or cold. At least you know where you stand. If you're hot, you know that. But when you touch and they're like, no, it's Nick. It's Nick. Oh, nah. They don't give a heck. At that point, yeah, you need to ruin some lives. Yeah, you need to ruin some lives. You need to let them know, listen, it's Nick. Okay, it's Nick. You know what I mean? And I say that facetiously, but what I really mean is that and what I remember is that clearly they're indifferent about his behavior, and they're more concerned about Tasia than they actually are about Nick touching them, which is even, that's what I'm trying to say, it's even worse for Nick. I think he thinks he's getting something by, and let me put it this way, when you are not very good at reading the room, but you are, and this is why you end up getting friend zoned, you don't have a killer instinct anyway. So if you did, you'd be able to read the room a bit more better, and you'd also understand as well that when they're not responding the way you think they should respond and you're friend zoning you, right? You take offense to that. So are you going to say, listen, I'm not doing this and I'm going to move on because this is why am I here? I want something. And he's lying to himself if he tells himself, I'm just trying to be friends. You ain't. Not with that kind of touch I'm seeing. Not the way you're grabbing someone from behind on their shoulder. Not the way that you're always wrapping your arms around them. Not the way you're always so physically intense around them. No. You are trying to push the boundaries very slowly and trying to see if one day you'll get there. And reality of the situation is you're probably more than likely not going to get there. Maybe one day you might get a little something, but with a one time off, and that'll be about it. It won't be a constant thing. So yeah, for me personally, when I look at it, I'm like, Nick, you got a bigger problem. They see you as a friend, like a brother. So when you're touching them, it's more like, it's Nick. You know, you when you're not a danger, they don't call it out. That's why it's taking them so long. And you can see he was stressed when he went in the room. He was pacing up and down in the room. Poor Nick. No composure, no killer instinct, no game. Went in there, pacing up and down the room. I mean, do you feel uncomfortable when I touch you? We're uncomfortable now because we're sleeping and you're in here asking these dumbass questions. Go to bed, Nick. Bye-bye, Roger.
Definitely a bye-bye, Roger thing. Sean, you want to go before I go?
Yeah, what I'll say is there's blurred lines in this house, right? And so I kind of empathize with Nick a little bit in a couple of ways. Now, one, yes, should you be able to read the room? Should you be invited to touch? Of course. However, you got Shanice's little cheeks flapping in the wind right next to me. Yeah, you got to consider. You got your hiney in my face right here on my shoulder, and you twerking up in the air, and I smell your booty air clapping in the wind. And if it smells a little fragrant, it smells good. I might little rub on the hiney a little. You want to twerk on my shoulder? Hey, that's an invitation to me. I don't know. Hey, I'm not sure. So he didn't even go that far. So I think we just have blurred lines in the house. And we just need to be a little bit more conscious about what we do. And, that's for the ladies. And also for him, I'm not saying he's removed of any consequence. Jordan, he should be able to read Jordan's energy because she's just nice, nasty. So even when they were taking that picture, hey, he was handsy in that moment. We saw it. They were trying to tell him where to put his hands. And he was just like, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? Where can we put the hands? So I understand that. The last thing that I don't like about how this all came up is Preston is a double agent. And I get it. We're going to give him empathy. He's going through, his trauma. But it's like he get to be with the ladies and then he's one of the girls, which I'm still off him because how he get a room and then the rest of the guys get the bunk beds. So I'm sorry. I'm still carrying a bit of my anger on that too. So now here we go. The ladies are communicating a message that they don't feel comfortable, but now he's got to be the one to carry the pigeon, to carry the message to the guys. It's like, did they want you to say that? Should you be the one to communicate the message? He's only going to go back to them anyway. Let's have the conversation. And I think if they had asked him and they said, hey, listen, Preston, we think, you should can you broach the subject because we kind of want to see, then I get it. But I still don't like that because it's like, if you got an issue with somebody, bring it to them, sit them down. Y'all can have a house meeting and say, hey, listen, no big deal, but we just want you to kind of, be conscious of your behavior. So yeah, that to me, I'm a little. We can't keep giving Preston all these passes because his dad passed away. I do understand that, death does bring about some things, but he's starting to be a little stirring up of things.
I definitely agree with you on the blur lines conversation because listen, though he is handsy when he is drunk, there's a way to handle people when they're intoxicated that gives them a firm notion, hey, I'm not okay with this. When she, with the photo thing, when she took his hand and placed it on the counter and kept it there with her hand on it, this is where we put in our hand. That lets him know in that moment, clear indication, I'm not comfortable with your hands being on me. When I release it, he's going to go back into his natural position. Because one, I have to think in my mind, and I'm not telling these people while they're intoxicated too to keep these things in hand, but at the same time I am, because when I'm intoxicated and I don't want your presence, I'm very aware of what you're doing. So I will encourage these ladies as well to stand their ground when it comes to removing his hand off of them right then and there. Also, with instead of going back, and Lorraine said it because this is my thought as well, instead of going back and telling everybody else that you have a problem with it, when you both are sober, address it with him directly. Hey, do you realize when you're intoxicated, this is how you behave? And that is not very becoming of a man with a lady. And respectfully, we would ask you to stop. So therefore, now he is more aware that it is a problem for you directly, but you're running around telling everybody else but him. It doesn't seem like a problem to him, but you just want to make sure that everybody is in the knowing of you're not okay with it. But to be honest with you, you are, because you have not stopped him from doing it. Had he not have a girlfriend, it would be okay that he's actually rubbing you up in this moment. Let's be honest about it. But you're only conscious of it because we're on TV and now you know he has a girlfriend. And I'm not saying that these ladies want Nick in any way, shape, or form. But a lot of times, even with people we don't want, when we just want a little attention, we're okay with a lot of things when we know it's okay and it's safe for them to be. But if we know that they have somebody on the side, then we want to be like, oh, you should be behaving. Well, you should too, ma'am. You know he has a lady, even if he's not conscious of his lady in this moment. You know how he has a lady. So, sir, could you are a married man. Get your hands up off of me. Like, whatever the case may be, even if it's in a joking manner in that moment so it doesn't bring so much tension, just let it be known, hey, I need you to stop. And then Ashley Michelle had another good point too. Had he been gay, like Preston, a lot of these ladies would be okay with the rubbing up and down of him on their body, which is very interesting too. Granted, Preston doesn't do these things. We haven't seen him doing these things or whatever, but we do be a little bit more okay when the guy pretends, I'm going to say pretend in this case, pretends he is gay. You know what I'm saying? But he can clearly be okay. He can clearly be of the community, and it's okay when he does it. But as soon as a straight man does it, it's a problem. No, it's a problem either way. Because if you don't like your space to be violated, just keep it cordial all the way across. Now, generally, when we have friend groups, the line is always pretty much kind of blurred until we establish like firm boundaries, like, hey, please respect what I have going on right here. Like, that's what we see with Amir, is even though he's weird with establishing his firm boundaries, he continues to do it. He kind of reminds us every 5 seconds, I have a lady, so I please respect whatever I got going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's, I think, what the real issue with the ladies, why they decide to address it a lot of times, is because Nick is not very firm with his boundaries as far as respecting his relationship, to the point that they feel like he don't even respect his relationship. And that was a lot of Preston's talk. Well, I feel like he doesn't respect his relationship. So that's why he's doing these things with you ladies or whatever. That's also a conversation that Preston should be having directly with Nick. And I know he does it later on, but instead of furthering the rumor pot, you know, you should keep that information to yourself and then go to him and say, hey, you know what? The ladies have said this, and it's coming off as if you don't like your relationship, in my opinion. man to man. It's coming off very kind of way, instead of doing it the way you did. Well, me and the ladies have been talking about you, so here's the gossip. That's where how it came off in this episode is we've been gossiping about how you've been behaving, and thus the ladies feel some type of way. And then in regards, we don't really know if they feel some type of way until he gets into the room. And like you said, Coach, now makes things awkward by asking them now, hey, do you guys feel weird that I'm touching on you? So now the whole house is in this. We're starting to feel the divide in the house starting to happen. And, instead of having a fun time, now we're all off guard because this conversation was not handled properly from the jump. And from the jump, meaning the lady should have told Nick, whether in the moment or a little bit later when they were all sober, your behavior when you're drunk is just not conducive into how a person should be in a relationship. And respectfully, we need you to chill. I don't know. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, similar to what Kojo was saying too. His execution was just awkward. And I know they're in a share house together, so people kind of people walking into each other's rooms, that's not uncommon. But if you want to address a topic about you being awkward, I think you probably need to be hypersensitive about where you have that that conversation to let them know you're kind of open to a better discussion. But kind of walking in their room, standing in the back while they're laying in the bed, could have been like, guys, maybe, I kind of heard this, I see y'all are napping, but can we talk now? I mean, Jordan had the covers all over her head. She was just like a lump in the bed. So it's like, bro, you don't know what was underneath that cover. You know what I mean? We see how that went in the real world with Tammy. That don't go so well when women are under the covers. Them undercover conversations where you want to talk about something that's already sensitive. I think he's just a very awkward person. And unfortunately, it comes out, and he needs to know how to use his judgment better. And he could have just been he could have just shouted from the door, hey, listen, guys, I want to chat with y'all. Let me know. Come get me when y'all ready to, I just want to talk with y'all, and that's it. And don't just stand there in their room, looking over the bed. It's hyper awkward. I have a feeling they probably won't be super bothered by him being in there. But I just think if you're approaching that topic, he needs to kind of choose his timing better. And this is an example of it. I also think, at a certain point, when you're a certain age, you need to be more educated on consent. We see how that's gone awry on different dating shows. You need to understand women's physical boundaries. So, I just want to add that context. You do have to be conscious of it. As a man, sometimes you have to err on the side of caution, even if you think, oh, we friends, oh, we talk. Because I know they're all cool with him, because Summer blew the news to him that, her and Alex was, fooling around. So she's comfortable with him, but you still got to know, hey, usually for me personally, I will let a woman touch me before I touch her. I try to err on that side of the case and see how comfortable she is with me. If she's in my personal physical space, then I'm going to feel more comfortable. If she's keeping a set of distance, and you'll notice it. If somebody is carrying distance with you, if they're standing next to you, but they're never really on you or next to you close enough to touch you, then that means they probably don't generally want you in their space. It's not all the time, but I think that's a way to kind of govern if the person is comfortable with you being in their personal space, touching their body. And if it's taking a picture, that doesn't count. Doesn't count. Taking a picture don't count. So sometimes guys will use that as an opportunity. We've seen that too. We're close to taking a picture. You put your hand in a place. No, pictures are not the time to cop a feel. It's in a regular scenario. Outside of that, where you'll know. So.
Indeed. And I was just thinking maybe Jordan was all the way under the covers because she probably took the wig off and it was like, yeah, I'm trying to get a nap in. I ain't trying to, because I was like, girl, it's raining, but it's hot. Them some blicked old bacon, but I was like, she don't want the camera to see nothing or whatever and stuff. So I was like, okay, she ain't trying to come out. Just come in the room, say, hey, I'd like to talk to y'all when y'all up. Good time. Have a little talk with y'all later on. All right. And shut it down. But anyways, any other thoughts, Coach, before I move it on?
Listen, I think Sean kind of said it brilliant as well. Like, I just think it's awkward you coming into a room when the ladies are there, and usually women are usually kind of naked under the covers, and you haven't trying to have this conversation again. Like I said, and do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's him. It's just him. I can't lie to you. If Alex came in the room, no, we would have a different conversation, right? But it's the fact that if you heard what they actually said, he was like, "Hey guys, am I being a little bit touchy?" And I don't know who was in the bed with him. Who was in the bed with Jordan? I don't know.
Summer.
Summer. Obviously, I think it was Summer who said it first. Was like, you know, when you get drunk, a little bit handsy, and then I think Jordan was like that. Now that told me all I need to know. She put the that in that right there is like, listen, Negro, get your ass out my room. I'm underneath the covers. I'm not coming out for this bull crap that you're about to present to me. Okay, all right. Go somewhere else for this nonsense. Because she didn't even give a long answer. I just think to myself that Nick is a little bit awkward. It's given. I hate saying it, but it almost gives spectrum, but it's not. But I'm just saying, it's the way he can't read. Social cues are not obviously working with him. But my thing is also that you got a girlfriend, bro. Why are you trying to be one of the man them? Even the guy who even Amir's not doing this, bro. What do you want from the situation? And you're pretending as if you don't know what you're doing, as if, I've known him for such a long time, we've been so close. Negro, you got a girlfriend. What are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I kind of liked what Amir was. I know Amir didn't tell him straight away, but Amir was trying to let him know, listen, I can't lie to you, bro. It's like he's telling his girlfriend, like, this ain't it. Like, this ain't the kind of behavior you want to be doing. And if you really love your girl, this is not what you want to be doing. You want to be staying away from this kind of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Of course, you might be around it, like Amir was saying, but you ain't trying to be a participant and your hands are all over the women. I just think it's disrespectful, like I said, to your girl again once more. And we really got to open up a real conversation about whether, you like your girl. And I think Preston was the right person to tell him. I think it was the right medium because he can talk to the women and he can talk to the guys. I think Nick took it bad. I think he heard some words and assumed that he's calling him a pedo. It's like, or telling him that he's a touch up because his reaction was so quick. It's like, take some time, bro. They're not saying they don't like you. They're just saying you get a little bit handsy. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, speaking of Amir and his situation with his lady, I'm all for removing yourself from anything that you feel like jeopardize your relationship. What I'm not for is getting on the phone trying to deflect from your own messy text that you done sent or whatever and throwing somebody else under the bus, i.e. Nick, by trying to compare your behavior to Nick's behavior. She's not there. She don't even know Nick or whatever. She don't need none of that information right there. Just say, I had to remove myself because the ladies is in there having a good time and I just didn't want to be a part of it because it looks bad. You didn't have to bring Nick and the fact that he doing whatever he doing in his situation in there, because here we go again. It'll be another Bria situation to have your girl come down there, meet Nick's girl, and then she want to sit here and divulge information she wasn't even privy to. So I don't know. I don't know if that's dirty macking in y'all opinion or what y'all would call that, but I just thought it was quite strange for him to bring in Nick to his phone conversation. Yes, that's it. Amir was admiring the booty, trying to figure out what he got to eat.
He's pillow talking without the pillow, and Amir gets on my nerves with all of this talk with, she's gonna beat me up, she's gonna drag me by my feet, she's gonna cut my balls off. It's like, bro, fall back. And then he texting her and getting himself into more trouble. Now, some people think he really was texting somebody else. I don't even think that. Amir is like, he's too busy being so proud and happy to have this girlfriend that he's like 16 years old again. So it's annoying to me. And then you got to throw Nick under the bus. Nick got enough problems. All right. So just leave Nick be. He's going to figure his own crap out. And, if you want to talk to your girl, I get it. You're feeling a little awkward. Leave the room and go talk to your girl. Hey, babe, everybody, you don't even have to tell the dynamics because she's not there. So sometimes you create problems where there doesn't need to be a problem, because if you're handling it well, nobody is directly flirting with you, because unfortunately Amir and Nick are in the same kind of category, because none of the ladies are really feeling him that much either. It just kind of is one of those things. They don't really like much of anybody. They're liking Alex, but Summer's about to ruin any chances he gets anyway. So none of the guys, I'm like, come on, ladies, y'all don't want the guys, but then y'all don't want nobody else to want them either. So, but I say that to say, like, I think he just needed to remove himself and just say, hey, babe, they're partying. I was just thinking about you. Let's talk. You know, what you up to? That's it. You don't got to say what's going on in the house. Have her mind thinking about what things are transpiring that she's not privy to. Just say, hey, babe, just want to chat with you. What you up to? I had a minute. How you doing? That's it. Move on. You got some private time? Go and dip into one of those bedrooms. Hey, you want a little FaceTime fun? I don't know. Do something, but don't involve the house politics.
Okay, so I know people are saying that they could see Amir cheating and sent the wrong text. The text read, because I zoomed in on it, it read, okay, what can I eat? What I'm going to eat now. To me, it just sounded like a drunk text of thinking about food, especially how he was sitting there in the days, like really looked like he was contemplating. I'm hungry. These fools over here twerking and crap. What's for dinner or whatever? And it just gives me, I'm thinking my thoughts through text or whatever. I don't know how she took it to. It must be for somebody else, but she also gives me jealous girlfriend by his admission. Because every 5 seconds he's telling us of what she gonna do to him. Have she find out he out here messing around in these streets? So yeah, I don't know if this relationship is very good or it's gonna last very long anyway in the first place. But you know, he's trying. I'm gonna give him that. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, no. When I first actually heard it, I thought to myself that he probably just sent. You know, ones where it's a thought in your head. And you just kind of type it, like, what am I going to eat for dinner? Do you know what I'm saying to you? It was in the middle of a thought, probably. It's in the middle of a thought, he's typing it, and it's come out like that. And I understand where both of them are coming from, because I can't lie to you. You know, if you're on the other end, it does seem a little bit weird. It's come out of nowhere. Texts are not a call, so it's like, why are you? You've got time to think about it. But sometimes you're not in that space. Sometimes when you're texting to think about it, it's one of those ones where you should just kind of mark it. And probably just kind of leave it. Do you know what I mean? You know, if you feel like this is something that is a part of his behavior, you kind of mark it, right? Because the reason why she's probably feeling like that is two reasons: either she's insecure, or he's shown some previous behavior that have shown him to be untrustworthy, and therefore that's why she's reacting the way she's reacting, right? And then obviously, secondly, I thought he's, you know, the words that he used, you know, I'm trying to be in a better place in terms of trying to, you know, help people solve arguments in their relationships. He had the right idea, it just doesn't get executed correctly, right? So like when you're trying to explain something to somebody which is probably going to cause an argument, you got to be careful how you're going to word it correctly. I think accusatory is the right word. I just think the way he worded it in the phraseology instantly was going to turn it into an argument. Like there ain't no way. Like it's given accusatory. It's like, yeah, you're going to cause an argument, bro. You know what I mean? Rather than saying, listen, I felt like a little bit like you were accusing me. Maybe that's not what you were saying, but it felt a little bit like on this end that you were accusing me. That's given the space and a pause for the person also to be able to say, hey, look, you know what? That wasn't my intention. I wasn't trying to do that. But when I say that you are being accusatory, I'm actually giving you no space. There's no space for you to make any other adjustment in that area, because I've already made a judgment. And judgments of right and wrong always cause majority of arguments in people's relationships, because there is no space. It's like, that's not me. I wasn't doing that. But sometimes you got to coax people into a space so you can actually get the real truth about them. She might have been feeling insecure. She might have felt like that text being out in the blue, which she kind of did explain, like it just felt like he was in the middle of a conversation. It was scary for her in that moment, right? And sometimes it's tough because, like I said, I don't know their relation, how deep they are. Maybe this is not the first time she's done that, but maybe it's not the first time he's done that. I do not know. I know that we've been thrown into the situation, and I wished, maybe just from that perspective, I was like, just got to be careful, what kind of, how the language kind of gets broken down as well. So, I mean, I'm glad he took himself away from the group and had a conversation with her, called her, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know, part of me kind of, when I was hearing it, I felt like, you know what, I wasn't disbelieving his text situation, but it felt a little bit like when you're on a call. It felt a little darky, and I mean, just a little bit. It felt a little dark arts. And when I say that, it's like when you're not enjoying somebody accusing you. Yeah, there's a certain way you almost. I don't want to say you get offended, but you don't, like, no, that's not what I'm doing. It almost felt like he little bit just was a little bit. I don't want to say he was excited, more reveled in the fact that she was like, what, you're jealous? Like, basically you're being jealous of me? Come on, man. But that's just me. I maybe just looking at it very darkly in that space. But yeah, I don't know. I can't say that I don't trust him or anything. I think if you look at him, you might feel like you don't trust him because he's got a good look or whatever. But he hasn't done anything to do anything wrong per se, apart from staying around when they're shaking their ass in his face. But some of us stay around, we're shaking their ass in our faces all the time. So what can we say? I mean, I'm a changed man now, but can't speak for my brothers and sisters.
Listen, he didn't look so excited. He kind of looked, I mean, he was looking. We ain't gonna hold him. He was looking. You can't help but look with Shanice all on everybody's shoulder and all this stuff like that. But he did remove himself. He was trying to keep some focus. But here's the thing, and we're gonna be honest, ladies. Ain't no way we know our man is on a trip with women in the background at the place. And he send us this kind of text, no matter what it says. If it ain't going with any part of our conversation, he could be like, God is good. Who the heck is that to? Like, what you talking about? God is good about what? You know what I'm saying? We need eyes on you and know that nothing's going on. And even on the phone conversation, granted he's downstairs, but they're upstairs, music going, screaming, hollering, doing all this stuff like that. We on the phone, we try to have a conversation, but we really trying to listen to everything that's going on in the background and make sure ain't nobody close in the background with you. Okay. And I'm pretty sure she was all on there. So I can see where wrong word choice, of course, but can get to this, oh, it's accusatory tone or whatever, stuff like this, because no matter how much of that conversation that we didn't see, you know what I'm saying, there's probably more that she's over there hearing, and it's going to be like, hey, it's a lot going on. What's going on? And then on top of it, that would explain why he decided he want to throw Nick in his behavior so it can deflect from, I came downstairs to be in the room by myself so I can talk to you or whatever, stuff like that. Well, sir, how long were you sitting up there before you decided to call me? Even though you was texting me through this course of time or whatever, stuff like that. Because you sat there for however long, you know what I'm saying, you did before you called me. As soon as they turned the music on and butt started shaking and y'all realized y'all wasn't going to the pool and the game was done, and why you didn't get up and move out the room then, you know? So he wanted to deflect off a lot. So it's also giving, we've probably been down this road, whether one was doing something or one is just a jealous person. We've been here before. And like I say, it's going to be an unhealthy relationship going forth, regardless, because if he's afraid for his life and his balls every 5 seconds, I don't know what to tell you, because a lot of times it just don't get, no matter how much you ease a person to say, I'm not doing anything, if you got to go through these lengths on a regular to remind everybody all the time that you have a woman, this, that, and the third, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah, I think she seems like she got him. He must have a type, because she seems like Jordan to me, just like kind of a little edge to her by the tone of their conversation. So he probably likes to be bossed around like this. Maybe that's part of their dynamic that he enjoys, because he loves this, being bossed around, you know, being chastised, because that's how it started off. Similar to what Kojo was saying, as soon as she had a problem, you know, it could have just been handled so many different ways, but she just zeroed in on accusatory. Now, I think he probably enjoyed the banter a little bit, because, you know, it's like, ooh, she's kind of, you know, I'm kind of turning the tables a little bit. But you could see his frustration, and that he immediately was like, okay, let's get to address this. And that shows how he resolves conflict. Typically, now, this isn't true in all cases, but I know most of us guys, if we're caught in a lie, we need to buy ourselves some time to get our stories together. So usually he would have done a little bit more texting before jumping to the phone, to kind of give himself a little bit of space to figure out how he's going to address her and what angle he needs to come with, right? Because that, most often when guys are cheating, they're lying. It's going to be a technical glitch. Oh, I lost signal. Oh, my location isn't showing anymore. You start to see, but he immediately he jumped to get on the phone with her, which means I don't even need to think about what I'm going to say because I know I'm not lying. Let's just address this head on. So I would say that errs on the side of he's telling the truth more than not. Can anything be possible? Sure. Could he have been texting another girl? Yeah, anything's possible. But I want to venture more closer to the side. He was not texting somebody else, and he was not trying to play her. It just so happens that she's like, her finger sits on the trigger.
Anything? Jesus, my touchscreen is acting real funny. I was about to say anything else on Amir.
I think I don't have any more notes on his situation. No. I think he, like I said, I don't want to say he's doing anything yet. I think I still want to give him benefit of the doubt. I want to give him that leeway. I want to err on that side. But maybe there's on both sides there can be some work that can be done to improve their future communications as well, because she did come in a little bit accusatory by initially jumping in that straight away, and that don't help your relationship as well, you know what I mean? And you could tell by her tone she was a little bit hurt by what was going on, and anybody out there, listen, those relationships are hard, man, I can't lie to you, but one of the best things you can ever do is to say that you actually feel a little bit hurt by the situation, because people don't actually, sometimes people know that you're hurt, but when you start coming with a tone of being hurt and then trying to, almost like you're fighting, the other person gets their back against the wall too, because maybe they feel they're innocent and they're being judged for something. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes when you come into a conversation, your tone and your words you're choosing are already fighting words, you're already starting an argument. So, a point for her too would have been to say, hey, look, I can't lie to you, I feel a little bit hurt in this moment just because I saw the text and my mind went somewhere. You know what I mean? I just want you to be able to explain it. And a lot of times it's the basic explanation of something that actually begins to lower people's guards. So sometimes when you come in there thinking, I know it already, he's definitely texting somebody. Yeah, you've already judged him, so he's got nowhere to go either, right? And sometimes people, when they get judged, there's a scary thing that some people can do, some of us can do. When we get judged, we're like, all right, then I did it then. What now then? Where do we go now? And now you're stuck because now that's not what you want. So don't come in there accusatory. Just state how you actually feel, how it's made you feel. And be honest about it, because then people can see that vulnerability and begin to cover you in that space. And if they don't cover you, probably might not be the right person for you in the same way, or maybe they need to grow as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into the last few major things that happened into this, let's break down this decades party real quick that they had, okay? Because the looks were... yeah, I don't know when they decided to have this party, but it was not a lot of effort into it at all, okay? But this party did lead to attention with Shanice later on. So I'm just going to go down through the dress up of it. Noel dressed up. She said basically she likes to have these type of dress ups because it helped with her confidence growing up, that she, could pretend to be somebody else. So it helped boost her confidence growing up. And she decided that she want to have a decades night. And so she was basically in 70s gear. Also, who was in 70s gear was Bria. I think it was Bria. No, Summer. Summer was in 70s gear. Jasmine was a 50s housewife. So everybody was like, she was herself. Preston was a Juice character. I don't know what character he was off of Juice. So if you ever seen Juice, I'm not sure who he was. Maybe a day role player or something like that. I'm not sure who he was off of Juice because it wasn't giving Tupac or nothing like that. Okay, I'm not sure who he was. Bria was 2000s rap or whatnot. She said she was a part of a rap group, and we done learned a lot about Bria. She got a lot of hidden talents. Okay, she was gymnast or whatnot, and also that she was a part of the rap group. Amir said he came dressed as Nick. And Jordan was Josephine Baker, and Nick was Arthur Ashe. I just want to ask you guys real quick, out of your opinion, who y'all think actually won this dress contest? Who y'all would give it to?
Probably Amir. And old girl, was it who was rapping? Sorry, I didn't know who was rapping.
Bria.
Bria.
Yeah, I like Bria's one too because she had a little music with her. So yeah, Nick was cool. I learned something. I didn't know there was I didn't even know a Negro won a tennis championship like this. I mean, I was inspired.
3.
I did not know. I did not know a brother won 3.
There's a whole stadium for him in New York that is that's where they host the U.S. Open every year. Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York.
I did not even know they even called it that. I'd never even seen a name for the stadium that did US Open. They just say US Open. Maybe I don't read the captions of where the stadium is. I did not know. 3. We have a brother that won.
I actually met him. I actually met him when I was in junior high school. You know, we had an opportunity to meet him before he passed away. He also famously, no, not fame. I don't want to say famously, but he died of HIV due to a blood transfusion. So yeah, that's another part of his story. So yeah, I was kind of like mind blown that they did not know who he was. All of them collectively outside of Nick. So kudos to Nick. But all of them, I'm like, you guys are supposed to be representing the best of the best of Black culture, and y'all don't know who Arthur Ashe is. Y'all in Martha's Vineyard, one of the, you know, and so I don't want to hear age, you know, because they're gonna be like, age. Martha's Vineyard goes way, 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 way back, you know, as a popular place for Black people to summer on the East Coast. So I don't want to hear, if you know Martha's Vineyard, you should know who Arthur Ashe is, because he was around in the 80s. You know, and he's famous, just like people know who Serena and Venus Williams are. You know, he was famous like that, but just in his time. I think another famous Black woman was Althea Robinson, another famous Black tennis star. So, hey, I don't know. But back to the costumes, it was, I think, Noel looked the best. Well, that's my bias pick. Noel, she pulled it off. Her energy was 70s. The look was good.
That's
she
fair.
looked she looked fire in the outfit. Yeah, Althea Gibson. Thank you, Tehu. So I think she was the best, and then maybe second runner could have been Jordan, because she pulled off the Josephine Baker too. She looked really good as Josephine Baker. So I love it. You know, the two ladies, but it's like, what is with this Preston bias? I'm tired of this. He threw on some jeans and a fake gold tooth and a fake chain, and he's playing somebody from Juice. I'm sorry, unless he was in full character, you know, playing, you know, Tupac, you know, partner, you know, if he came through with that, who got the juice? You know, he wasn't in full character. It was a pity pick that they chose him, and I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, I was like, if he never said it, I would never guess. I would have never guessed somebody from Juice. I would have probably guessed Menace to Society or something like that before anything else. I don't know who he was giving a hell. I would have probably even got Ja Rule before I got anything Tupac. I'm like, I did not get it, but definitely because I can't give it to Noel, only because she seemed like she was hosting it more than anything and wasn't really participating in it at all. But I definitely give it to Jordan, because Jordan was, you know, given the whole look. She put a dress on, she had the hair pinned up and the hat, top hat to it. So I was like, yeah, I don't know how y'all just overlooked, because it was almost like Jordan didn't really get any votes. Like, you know, she had like one with everybody else. I was like, how are y'all voting? What is this being rigged for or whatever? So I was like, y'all definitely giving a pity party for, you know, his dad passing or whatever. But between him and Bria, they was about the same thing. I was like, what y'all, rap duo? Like, y'all Little Kim and Mace? What are y'all? Who are y'all? I don't get it. But, you know, and it's a decades party. Like, you're supposed to be representing the whole decade, not a movie character or whatever and stuff like that. So for me, Jordan would have represent the decade. Behind that, anybody that was dressed in the 70s, which would have been Summer, Noel, and Shanice. Shanice had the pants of the 70s, and actually I had them same colored bell-bottom pants or whatever. I'm gonna have to find that picture and post it for y'all. But I had those same pants or whatever. But when they sat there and said that she gave blaxploitation film and Working Girl, and she was like, thank you, I said, oh my days. Poor Shanice. Poor Shanice. And so therefore, after that, They changed. They were supposed to go swimming, but the rain was pouring down, so they couldn't go getting into the pool. So they decided to stay indoors. They started playing another game. I couldn't catch the name of the game because I was trying to find it for my game nights. But the card on the game, they asked a few questions. She get the first card, which was she gets to take shots. She decided that she's gonna pour up everybody's shot. The next card pops up, who is the worst dressed? And they voted her the worst dress. And somehow that triggered a whole response that drew conversation all the way into the next day, which was crazy as hell. And I'll say this, though I do believe there's something deeper going on with Shanice. And I'll say it's deeper than her losing her job and dealing with the ex last year or whatever and stuff like that. The fact that they're talking about it the next day as if she was just being over dramatic or whatever and stuff like that, instead of trying to figure out why or what the root cause of her being so dramatic was more puzzling to me than her actual walk away. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yes, we're playing the game. It shouldn't have really hurt your feelings that we say you're the worst dressed or whatever. But her response was, I don't have the money, when she was in the room with Bria, when Bria finally checked on her, is I don't have the money to dress these type of things or do these type of things. And nobody else really decided to go check on her to really find out, hey, what made you actually explode like this? You know, they just kind of brush it over the bridge, but then have the nerve to sit at the table the next day saying she was being too dramatic. That's what puzzled me a bit more. So I do feel a little bit in some regards she's kind of right when she says Summer might be a little jealous. I don't think the cause of why she's jealous is the truth, but there's something there between these two people that call themselves friends, which is not adding up to friendship. Because if I was to say that to one of you guys and you stormed up, I would definitely be more concerned about why it is that you blew up the way you did than just trying to say, oh, they were just being dramatic yesterday. Especially if I talk to you on a regular day today and I know what you're going through. I don't know how y'all felt about the situation. So y'all go ahead, let me know.
Well, listen, it's about Summer and Shanice, right? I think this is a classic case, a beautiful case of seeing how passive communication actually really works on both sides. Someone came out acting like she really is, somebody who is very forward and direct, but she actually wasn't that forward and direct with Shanice. And Shanice too come out like she was going to say something, but she ain't saying nothing. Okay, now this situation was an unfortunate one. Summer is a hater. I'm just gonna say it. I shouldn't make the judgment. Let me take that back. As a coach, I'm not trying to be that way, but she's a hater. Okay, all right, yeah, that's a threat. That's an enemy in your camp. Okay, all right, and she needs to change that before she becomes a real enemy in Shanice's camp. And I say this why, because first of all, the question wasn't to you. So why are you answering it? The question wasn't to her, right? Specifically. Number two, it's your friend. So the way you're gonna have to say it has to be delivered in a. If I say who's the worst dressed, I might know that. You know what? I can choose Sean because Sean can handle that. If I say, yeah, Sean, because he be wearing them brown shoes, he know I'm gonna take that as a joke, and he knows he can take that, right? But if I'm a friend of you, I know how you are, right? If I know that Sean might be sensitive about his brown shoes, I'm not about to be like, yeah, it's definitely Sean. Yeah, he got them brown shoes that need to go, like. I'm not gonna do that because I know that as you're my friend, I know that you have a sore spot. And Shanice actually let us know a little bit of information that she had let someone know that her job had let her go, and the fact that she had, unfortunately she had got to another job, and then that job let her go, and she took, according to her, she feels a little bit, not have enough money to buy her own clothes. That's obviously within reason, because your money's not her money. So obviously, that should have been something considered. But even when she gives us that information, Shanice, it's still not direct. In the sense of, did you let someone know that this is going to be a sore spot for me? That that your finances, it's going to be a sore spot, because at the end of the day, Summer, she's a human being. You know what I mean? And even though you've told her that information that you lost her job or whatever, yeah. But I mean, listen, hey, we're all friends here. We joke. So I can also understand where someone might be thinking that I'm just kind of saying a joke. My issue is that you're her friend, and the way you said it didn't sound like a joke. It sounded like you're being serious. Like it wasn't rude, like nasty rude, but it was like cheeky, like, yeah, well, you know, I think it's Shanice, if I'm honest with you. It's like, yo, that's your friend. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta watch how you kind of say it. And then that you see your friend going off, you don't go after her, which means now you actually don't care about her feelings. You believe she's overreacting to what you've actually said. That's why you're asking people, like, what did I say? Did I say anything nasty? Yes, B, you did. You said something nasty, bro. Go after your friend. Your friend has gone off, which means you don't even realize that you don't even have no self-awareness, that you've said something quite rude here. And we know that someone doesn't have great self-awareness, and we know she's passive because she's the same thing to Noel. So this is something classic of Summer, who, and again, when I say it's passive, it's because she did the exact same thing on the first episode on the table with Alex. Instead of telling Alex how she felt, she ended up coming out saying about, you don't enter this poussoir, and then actually just, rather than telling Alex how she actually felt. Summer is a very passive aggressive person who's meeting a friend who's also passive aggressive in the fact that they fail to able to explain how they truly feel. So now we've got Shanice upstairs. Bree comes up to her. Bree puts a little bit of a battery in her pack. You got to tell Summer how you feel. And I'm expecting when Shanice comes down to be like, hey babe, let's talk. But Shanice is all tip-tappity dancing, doing all the nonsense, and like says one or two lines like, you know it wasn't nice, whatever, blah, 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 and doesn't fully explain the situation that, hey, look, I just lost my job. You know, I just felt like, you know, I'm not in the best place. I felt a bit insecure in this moment. And then you kind of just hit the nail on the head where you've talked about my style. And as a friend, I didn't expect that from you. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like you were trying to hurt me in that moment. None of that explanation came out. So now Summer doesn't know that she really hurt you all that way either, although she should pick up on it. But still, you gotta be active with it. We don't see that from Shanice either. And then within a few minutes, you're partying again. So, like, to people who are oblivious to you and not very good at picking up cues, what message you're actually sending is, I'm going to be okay. Whenever you take the mick out of me, whenever you break my boundaries, whenever you gaslight me, whenever you abuse me, I'm going to be okay. Give her a few minutes. No wonder why she didn't come after you, because you didn't let her know effectively that she was out of order for what she said to you and you felt some type of way. So I think from Shanice's end, she needs to be a bit more better in terms of communicating. Not a bit better, be better in communicating and actually being active in actually how you feel. And then for Summer, baby, listen, I'm gonna need you to come off that. Don't be a friend of me. I need you to be real. That comment was off pocket. And number two, I need you to start being a bit more active in how you say things, because you think things and then you kind of say it undertone. And when we get to Noel, we'll be able to explain that a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Kojo summed it up nicely. I do think that Shanice can come off very aloof, and I think she hides what she's going through by being overly sexual combined with the drinking. So those two things, it's hard to really have a solid conversation with her. But I do think this Summer is not the nicest, because you know how I do know she's not nice is when the dust settled after everything, she had the chance to realize what happened, know the moment. When she did that confessional, she doubled down on the comment that she made. So that tells me all I need to know is she felt how she felt. She said what she said, and she's mean. And that's all it is. And she tried to, win our sympathy over by the whole Alex thing and not being invited. But she's mean. She's mean. And sometimes mean people that are mean like that, they have a hard time realizing they're mean when they're called out. They say it's, oh, I'm just being honest. I'm just telling the truth. Yeah, when you say that, people that are truth tellers and they always feel like they have to be the voice of things, those people usually carry a little bit of meanness with them and a little insensitivity to other people's feelings, but on the other token, want their feelings to be considered. So yeah, I'm kind of over her, and I'm sure we'll dive into the comments she made about Alex later on in their little situation, but she's mean. That's all.
And I'll say this, I'm not going to say that Shanice needs to confide in Bria, because I know that they're new to the relationship of each other. And if I'm telling my friend who I've been knowing some time, some deep and personal stuff, and this is how they treat the information, it would make me a little off put to tell anybody else. But however, the closed situation is not the trigger for what happened. And we have to be honest about this point, because being labeled the worst dress does not imply because I do not have money to buy clothes that I do not know how to style the clothes that I do have. You can just be honest, baby. Listen, I'm a free spirit. I'm not big on clothes. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm a dressed for comfort. Always, okay. There's a very few times that I'm trying to dress to impress, and literally, I'm just gonna be in comfort. And if it impresses you, I did a good job for the day. That's how I be feeling, okay, child. Look, I'm come from a place where when my dad lost his job early off, money stopped flowing through the house. I had to wear whatever I had or whatever, or scrape up when I had my little job, scrape up whatever I can to make it work. And some outfits were from the cheaper places like Rainbow and maybe here or there thrift shop or whatever the case may be. But I was going to make it work however I can. I wasn't wearing all the name brands and all this stuff like that. And even when Preston said it, it's like, baby, I got Gucci with one C up on it. Like, it is what it is, but I'm gonna make it look good. So the issue is not the fact that you don't have the money. Baby girl, you just don't style. You know, some rich people buy all the labels and still can't style. Look at Giselle, baby. Giselle gonna wear 50,000 labels and it all gonna be wrong. Okay. So it's not about that. And that's okay. That can be worked with. But for you to have such the reaction that you did have lets me know there is a lot that is going on in your life. And I wish that your friends would have took the time to realize that you are really going through a lot. And that may be the reason why you're out here drinking and wanting to party most of the time, because that's your escape from the realism of what you're going through. So I need these people that are in the house around you and the people that are closest to you to actually start paying attention and get you back on track. Because for you to be a whole year of going through stuff, that's a lot. From the ex-boyfriend to the transition of the jobs that let you go or whatever. And now you're literally in a whole nother state. And because you already had this trip book, you have to be here. And trust me, from a person who has been on trips with little to no funds, that is not always the best time to be on a deck. Like when your friends is out here being able to party away and do whatever, it's not a very good feeling on the inside. So I do understand where she is coming from a lot of ways. And I just want her friends to really be aware that she is hurting on the inside. Before I go answer this door real quick, could y'all go ahead and segue up into the Alex, Noel, and Summer situation since we're here now? And I'll be right back.
Well, the Alex, well, it is. It's Summer and Noel situation. I mean, I want to be honest with you. Shout out to Sabrina in the chat as well. Good to see you on this side of town. The Summer and Noel situation just frustrated me watching it. Again, it's a classic case of passive aggressive communicational styles where you're being indirect about what you actually feel. And I felt like Summer really did Noel a bad injustice. And in fact, it was so bad that Summer decided to turn on Noel, like getting annoyed the fact that Noel's getting annoyed that you're not telling her all the information. Why wouldn't she be annoyed? If I asked you, Wagwan between you and another guy, and you tell me, oh no, we just hung out, I'm supposed to read in between the lines that you were having sex? You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to read between the lines. I'm supposed to read your mind and read between the lines that by you hanging out, y'all were having sex. Sorry, when I was asking you, I thought because we're friends, you would actually explain that. Like, I don't need to tell Sean, like, hey, no, we hang out. I'm telling you, hey, Sean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I top that. I can't lie to you, bro. Okay, but you do what you want to do. I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna let you know for real, so that you can make a deep choice. And if I'm truly not phased about it, I'm gonna tell you straight, bro. Do your thing. I'm not mad at it, and I'm gonna tell you what I did because I have no shame and I don't feel no way about telling you the information because we're boys. You know what I'm saying to you? So Summer again, I don't want to make a judgment on her, indefinitely. I want to say that she's got really bad communicational skills rather than saying I don't feel like she's a real friend to Noel or Shanice. I don't think this is her immediate friends, if I'm honest with you. And it reminds me back of what we saw on the table with Alex. And I remember saying that to myself, actually, I didn't say it on the live that we did, is that Summer kind of used, was it Jordan who was talking about that? They kind of double teamed in that moment. But you know, by herself. She wasn't really saying that, she wasn't being necessarily direct the way she needed to. And so I was like looking at her wondering, so why didn't you just tell Noel the truth? I slept with Alex. Okay. It wasn't that great. That's how you were trying to, because you said in your little confession, it wasn't that great. Okay. It wasn't as passionate as you thought it was. Okay. But you're a little bit hung up. Okay. He's 6 foot something. You're looking, dark skinned brother. You're hung up now. Okay. It's okay. Be honest about it. Right? Noel, maybe I don't want you to go there. Instead, you're telling someone else that Noel shouldn't go there out of the slip of your tongue at brunch to Preston. And I know she was kind of hoping that Preston would go and snitch and say something to her. Instead of you just actually saying it yourself and being honest about how you actually feel. So now you're leaving Noel in a very difficult position, right? Where Noel's like, okay, wait, you know, look, you said you just went out. So at this point, you know, Alex is my type. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna move forward. At this point, I can't blame Noel in this situation. If you're not going to be honest about how you feel about the Alex situation, if you're not going to tell her truthfully that you actually did a thing with Alex and you wanted him, hey, old girl's thinking it ain't mean nothing, I'm a pass through. Okay, I already said this personally. I don't hold back friends from trying to date people that I've dated or gone with. It's just not my thing. If you like them, go for it. Maybe it's a blessing in your life. You know what I'm saying to you? I just can't hold them from you. If I'm holding them from you, it's because I still like them. I don't like holding people like that personally. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, I just think, like, I get it. I know it can be a little bit tricky for some people. Of course, you might have dated them, but you had one-time sex. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Okay, you had a summer fling. You're going to be okay. Darling, okay, you're going to be okay. And so I just feel like, you know, someone needs to... I feel like someone needs to be more active and more present in the way she discusses how she feels. And clearly she has an issue with discussing her feelings. And it's quite interesting, this part too, and I'll give my final kind of thoughts on this, that she accused Shanice of not being emotionally able to process and be able to explain things from an emotional point of view, to explain her emotions. And the very thing that she was accusing Shanice of, which she was right, was also a mirror looking at the same person. As you was caught in the, as you're calling the kettle black, Negro, you black. You're not even realizing you're not able to explain your feelings very well either. That's why you cussed out Alex at the table and said, you entered inside of me. You had an emotional reaction because you don't explain yourself fittingly at the point in time it's needed to be explained. So now she's in a situation where Noel, I felt, you know, listen, someone might say Noel shouldn't pass through. Hey, if you come and say to me you're not really feeling it, I don't expect you to be held back. At this point, Noel's a chess player. Know how she's gonna play some chess. Okay, I was really impressed by that, and I started falling in love with her myself. I said, Noel, come over here, come play some chess. I don't even know how to make chess moves, baby, but I'm a grandmaster, so don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying to you? But I love that aspect of her. So I'm gonna say it again. If you don't tell someone that, you know, like, you actually like them, you are the one to blame for this. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it that way.
Well, firstly, I want to say, Jay, baby girl, you always look nice. Every time we're out and about, you always look good. So, you know, I don't know what you be talking about. You always be like, I never dress for the occasion. I haven't witnessed it,
Well,
and we all know I
I've gotten better. Y'all kept me informed on what exactly occasion I'm on, so it makes it a little easier. But if I have no clue of what occasion I'm on occasion comfort. Okay.
Yeah, the whole, I mean, Kojo, I'm glad you're good and comfortable with, you know, passing people around, but I've just seen it go wrong in too many different instances. So I always err, like, once you've gone there, maybe if y'all went on one date and it didn't work out, maybe, you know, but if y'all have been intimate, I don't know. I'm just weird, like, wait, I don't want to. I would have a hard time being with somebody that, you know, one of my friends has been with. So yeah, no, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to do it, you know. And it's also actually, it worked out bad for me one time where one of my friends, you know, called himself being cool with it and then wasn't cool with it, and our friendship took a turn. So yeah, so that- I know I'm not doing it no more. But you know, I understand. Maybe if it's somebody that you knew, like if there's a distance between you and the person, but if there's been direct Wi-Fi connections, yeah, I don't want to do it. And then I think also Summer is playing because she's talking out of both sides of her mouth Because on one hand, you're like, oh, it's cool. But then you get in a confessional and you're like, well, don't you know what hooking up means? Hooking up means, hey, that's implied that we did it. Why should I have to directly tell you? Listen, if your friend is asking, you need to be clear. You know what I'm saying? If y'all are in a one-on-one, it's off camera. I can see even see if it was on camera and you're like, you know what? I don't want to put my business out there yet. But it was off camera. You had all, intentions to be like, you know what? There's no need for you to try to be tough and show an image. You could just tell her, hey, listen, we're not together. We're not a thing. We were a thing. I might feel some type of way. You know what I mean? So I think she should have just been clear and upfront and honest with her own self. And I think that is what people have a tough time, with, is being honest with themselves. Because if she's being honest with herself, then it's going to be easy for her to tell the truth to somebody else. But if you're telling yourself a lie, then what you're going to do to the next person, you're going to lie to them. And then it's going to show up because you really are not going to be happy with it. Because if you're complaining about not being invited to a music event, how you going to feel when Alex does other things and he invites Noel and not you? You really going to be bent out of shape. So I think you just need to be honest with your feelings. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. And say it like what it is. Doesn't mean you have to want him back. It just means you're honest. There's still something there. It's not going to be anything, but you would feel away.
You're definitely right, Sean, right there. The honesty is the first part. It's the starting point. It's the whole thing. We can't get through the 12 steps unless we honest and get out of the denial phase. And that's what she's in right now, is the denial phase. You denying the fact that you have feelings for this man. You're denying the fact that you have slept with this man to Noel. You're denying the fact that you obviously liked it, because otherwise, if you didn't, you will be carrying on and wouldn't be worried about it. You're denying the fact that you do have other options. However, you're still hooked on this one. It is not about you didn't get the invite or whatever and things like this. You thought that you were more special to this man's life than you actually were. And that is quite okay. Okay. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes things fall out a lot faster than we expected to. Sometimes when I might work the room and realize that I've beat out the immediate crowd, that I'm not the one overall in the grand scheme of things. And that is okay. But the fact that you are denying that your own truth about this man is what's causing all of these problems and this ruckus that is going to happen once he decides that he wants to completely move on in front of your face. So if we can be honest to start about how you actually feel about the situation, it will start to work out best for everybody, especially yourself, because you wouldn't be sitting here mad at Noel, which was odd to me. Is how are you in your confessionals mad at her for saying that she doesn't want anybody's sloppy seconds? That's her preference. If she wants to know that y'all actually been there, all it is to tell her straight up, hey, you know what? Well, it was a one-off, two-off, whatever the case may be. It didn't work between us. Maybe something can happen between y'all. That would actually confirm to her one or two things. One, something did happen between us that was more than just we hung out. Because we hung out of a friend group that I know y'all been hanging out last supper means nothing. It doesn't mean that y'all slept together. But it also lets me know that y'all have messed around and a real sleep together or whatever. And then that too, that you're actually over it. But because you actually lied to this girl about what it is, lets me know that you're not actually over it. And that's why she's kind of like, yeah, no, I'm backing off, because I don't want no parts of the mess right now, because clearly you're still invested. Then on top of it, you got on a boat and proceeded to title it of some type of love situation. See, there's a whole bunch of honesties that you're not being honest with yourself. You're not being honest with your friends, Shanice, Noel. These are people that you brought into this group saying that you're close to. However, it's seeming like you're not very close to any of these ladies, because if my friends say, hey, Jay, what's up with Sean and Coach over there? And I mess with one of y'all. I'm going to go ahead and be like, well, we cool now, but it was what it is. We did some things back in the day, but that was in the past. We realized we're not the one for each other. I'm good, sis, if that's what you want to do. It's just really that simple. You know what I'm saying? It's not a problem to sit there and be like, and I know I'm not obligated to tell my friends who I sleep with, but generally we do. Let's be honest. Generally we do tell our friends something's like, girl, yeah, I was with that. And if it was nothing, you definitely getting a girl. I don't even want to think about it no more, child. I'm still pissed that I wasted my time. Let's be honest. Like, let's be for real. We gonna really tell our friends the real truth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, if it's good, we might not tell them because we trying to keep it like, yeah. So that's what it's giving. It must have been good. That's why you don't want to really tell Noel that you really went there and you want it to be, let me see what Alex do situation. That's really what it was. That's what it's giving me. Now, maybe that's the dark arts in me. Is saying that you are hoping that Alex rejects it, or, you know, if you find out that he's just an F-boy for real, you need it to be all in your face or whatnot. But you're still invested. And it actually was better than what you want to proclaim it is on this TV or whatever and stuff like that. Because otherwise, you wouldn't have been going back and forth from LA to New York just to hang out with him like you said you were. Because you said you hung out a couple of times. So it's giving more than a one-off to me. You wouldn't be sitting here sending pictures back to, hey, guess who I'm kicking it with, if it wasn't something more in your opinion. Now, if you just don't want them to know how good it is now that y'all not together because you hoping it don't get back to Noel from some kind of way, I can see why you're lying. But, ma'am, you liked it. You liked it enough to act a whole fool on the first night's dinner. And revealed to everybody, unfortunately for you, Noel wasn't listening. She was too invested in the crab legs. She couldn't hear all the sound of the crab legs cracking, that she didn't even realize what you had said at the end of the table. But I need Summer to really be honest in a lot of how she is feeling right now. And it's given that she also has some deeper issues that she needs to get out and get over. Going forth, I hope that it starts to come out during this. Well, for our sake, I hope it come out during this summer trip. But I hope that she do find the issues that is leading her to be even betraying herself in the moments that she's doing, because that's what she's doing at this point, is going against her own. Like, you're blocking your blessings. You say you have all these people that you're not worried about, Alex. Well, please, ma'am, unworry yourself with this man and do like he did, take his lead. I'm not going to talk about it. He was gentleman enough not to even divulge whether it was worth his rebeat or not. Okay. Hell, he was kind of like, I don't want to rebeat, because the rebeat is going to lead to a repeat of her telling about how I was inside her again, and I don't want to do it. So, yeah. And while we on Alex real quick, sir, I got a question for you, man, relating to Alex, because that damn picture is not the reason that you do not want to talk to this lady. That picture is not the reason. So my question to you, gentlemen, is what reasons would make you act somewhat like Alex towards a woman?
Well, I'm going to take the dark arts route and say that Summer he clocked Summer from early that she's a clinger 5. He clocked her from early that this is a clinger 5. If she's already taking photos, sending it to her girl, she got no composure, which means it's going to be nasty work getting out of the situation. Let me hit it a few times, let me get out, okay? Hit it, quit it, and get out at the right time. I've got my jackpot, let me get out. I think that's what it is. He was proven right, because at the table, that was a clinger. I was a clinger 5 right there. Like, that was maximum effort. Old girl actually self-destructed to get you as well. Yeah, that's a clinger 5 right there. You don't press. That's why he had to get out of there. So yes, carnage indeed. So yeah, no, in reality, I think it is that you clock when you know you're not ready to commit. You can clock when someone's showing you that they ain't got the composure to last a certain amount of time. So you kind of get out before that. So those pictures were just an excuse, because he still dealt with her after, didn't he? He still dealt with her. He still slept with her after. So it wasn't the pictures, okay? It's the fact that you felt like she's gonna start making it feel like it's a relationship, and people will start knowing that you're you're doing a thing, and so you can't keep it under wraps, which is what you wanted to do. So yes, that's what I think.
Yeah, I think they just they're not on the same page. And the picture thing by itself wouldn't be enough, but I think the picture thing and her behavior together with that lets him know, although he gave her the disclosure, hey, I'm on my F-boy-ish, I'm not looking for nothing serious, he can tell that she still wants something else. And this is about the second time she's made reference to love or romanticism, and he's been clear that that's not the energy he's on. Like when last episode she's talking about, I thought you would have exercised a level of love for me. Clearly he doesn't have that, and a level of care. Not everybody, connects sexual activity with care and love in that capacity. Sometimes it's just two very separate things, and maybe down the line it could be to that, or depending on the person it might change. And that's another thing. It depends. Your energy and how you connect is different with different people. And that comment she made talking about she wants a little bit more romance. She expected a little bit more. She likes slow and passionate. Well, if those are all the things you like and you're about to engage in activity with somebody, don't assume that they're going to know what you want, because, hey, I'm not defending him per se, but if he's on the time of let's just get in there, get out, let's have a good time, then that's the energy that he may be on. If you want a little bit more, then you also are responsible for communicating what you want. So for her to come off and be like, oh, it wasn't romantic, it's like you're leaving a lot of room for what could have taken place in that situation. So I think she definitely was on demon time with how she described what happened between the two of them. But, I think it all just boils down to bad communication and them not being on the same page about what they wanted.
She was on demon time, and so was he on season 1, because the way he was reading Jordan and able to tell what type of man that needs to approach her, this, that, and the third, and he couldn't read that with Summer. Lets me know that you were just on whatever time you wanted to be on at the time, and which was, let me try to knock this down before the summer ends, and ended up with Summer. For the winter. Okay. And like y'all said, yes, she got too clingy too fast for his liking, and listen, if I'm making back and forth trips back and forth between New York and LA, which is not very cheap and very time consuming, best believe I'm looking for us to be a little bit something more. So he should have been clocking that too as well, when it's let's make a trip every other week, or however it was going for them. So I'm gonna have to look at Alex a little sideways when he be trying to act like his discernment is on high when it's really not. Okay, you, sir, are an opportunist, and you got your opportunity, and then you didn't communicate very well, which is very strange for a person who is very communicative any other time. You didn't really tell her how you felt on a lot of levels, even when it came to this whole picture situation. It could have been an easy, hey, I thought we was going to keep this between us, but somehow Jordan, Nick, and everybody else seems to know what's going on. You can sit here and tell everybody else about themselves, but you're not taking your own advice when it comes to a lot of things. So just as much as Summer has the communication problem on telling her actual feelings, Alex does too. Because you should have just told this lady, we're not as far in as you think we are. And, I'm pulling back on some of my invites because I don't want the confusion. Instead of trying to make up this cockamamie story. Well, I'm just the host and I don't do the invites. The invites, if you signed up to the subscription would have gave it. But I mean, I did give the personal invite to Bria and stuff like that because, they the homie. Yeah, sir. But we got to work on this player game of yours too, because the F-boy game is not F-boy in the way it should be. But, we're going to see how it goes forward during this season, because to me, I'm still getting the vibes that him and Noel is going to hook up in some capacity if some new meat don't come up in there for either of them, okay? So we're going to see. Any other thoughts that are topics that y'all want to bring up that was standing out for this episode for y'all? I don't know if I think we covered pretty much all the big ones. Yeah, I think we covered pretty much all the bigger ones. I don't know. Anything, Sean?
We got Amir, Bria, Now, we didn't really talk about Bria too much, but poor Bria.
Child, there was only one time when she threw that dog on
Why?
Shanice's bed. I was like, "Don't throw your dog on other people's bed." Now I know I'm an animal lover and all, but you know, Sean, how I felt, how you feel about your bed and the dog on it. I was like, "Don't just be putting your dog on people's beds." She just threw my little dog right on the bed.
I think I feel like she hasn't found herself. You know, I get that from Bria. You know, so she doesn't know where to fit in, and everything she's a part of. She was a gymnast. She was a this. She was a that. Looks like she's gonna be tussling with Amir, screaming and yelling and carrying on back again. And then when I saw them do a rewind of her and she had them blue contacts on, I was like, Bria, find yourself, baby girl. Ain't nobody with your skin complexion got no baby blue eyes. Why are you doing that, baby? Come on.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then we know that she's still, I mean, I know her and Simon, she said they're in a better space now, but it sounds like they've been tussling back and forth a few times too. So we're gonna see. And we do remember that she did have an all-out fight with him as well last season. I mean, she was in the midst of a lot of fights last season. She's doing pretty good right now, but we know she's a ticking time bomb. So it's gonna be tick tick boom, and it looks like tick tick boom coming like by next week when we start talking about bringing old people back. Because I think they discussed, what was his name, Frank or something like that. I can't remember what his name is, and I think, what is Jasmine's friend's name? Martha something. I liked her. I liked the friend that they had to kick off because of Bria or whatnot. But we gonna see. She gonna throw her Karen tantrums and start trying to move her way eventually. Yeah, Mariah. That's her name. Thank you, Lorraine. That's her name, Mariah. So they were having discussion. It looks like they having discussion on bringing some of these people back. Phil and Mariah. Okay, that's it. Because I'm just gonna call this man Frank, no matter what, huh? Child. Yeah. So that was Summer's friend, not Shanice. Okay, Summer's friend Phil, and then Mariah's Jasmine's friend. Okay. I don't know. It looked like they having discussion. I don't know if she's coming back, but it looks like they are discussing the possible return of both Phil and Mariah. You know what, Phil? I don't know how to. Well, I don't know. Coach caught up to on season 1, but I don't know how you feel, Sean, about Phil coming back. If he doing them kind of childish pranks, as he want to call it, like, don't leave your feces unflushed in my toilet unless the toilet is stopped up for some odd reason. But you're willingly leaving it like this and not going to flush it. I don't know if he need to come back really, but you know what? He may bring chaos. He may bring some more chaos to the house. Look at Coach face. Yes, my guy left the toilet because he couldn't get the room that Nick ended up getting because of Bria. No, that was Bria's friend. That was Bria's friend, Phil. Not
So someone left a
Summer
brick.
or Shanice. Yes, he left a brick in the toilet because Bria didn't save the room, and Nick ended up with the room. So he decided while they were all out and he came in that he was gonna leave it unflushed.
A brick. That is some nasty work.
And then when they asked him to flush it, he was like, "No, because I didn't get the room."
You know what? That's some petty stuff right there. You got to be a whole lot of shame to do that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shame that you got to, strip yourself off to leave a doo-doo floating in the waters of someone's toilet. That's some nasty work.
Literally nasty work. Literally and figuratively. Yeah, no, I'm good on him. I'm not one for physical violence, but that kind of stuff brings out my anger. I don't like that. And then you're trying to make a point, and he was very he had a run-in with Jordan too. He was just very confrontational. I don't think his energy is good for the house. And then you putting them all in that space. It's going back to the bunk bedroom. You're gonna put them all together. It's like, I think that's just a recipe for disaster, because he almost got into it with Amir. Didn't he? He almost had a fight with? I think it was Amir. Amir
Oh yeah,
fucked up.
Amir. It got Preston all riled up, and it was a lot with just that
Yeah,
just that whole energy of the toilet situation. It got everybody up in arms with him.
yeah. So he was like going at it. I mean, I think they got enough energy in the house. They want to bring Mariah back in. I mean, I don't want to get in the way. My little opinion ain't gonna change what Bravo does, but I was fine with Mariah leaving. She got on my nerves with that whole yoga thing. It's for 6 hours. And I think she just, what some people like want to insert their energy, like, oh, we're going to come on this trip and we're going to do what I want to do. No, baby girl, like just fall back. Just, find your lane. Do what you find one person that likes yoga. You have one person that's a vegan. Y'all get together, but don't be coming up in here. It's like, and I'm not saying she's a vegan, but like, somebody has that energy. Oh, I'm a vegan. We're going to have a vegan meal today. No, you're a vegan. I don't want to be a vegan. I like meat. So you can have a vegan meal to yourself. Don't cook me a vegan meal. I don't want it. That's something you want to force on us. Sometimes I just can't stand that. Somebody said, well, I'm a herbologist, so we're all going to clang bells and, charge our crystals and we're going to eat herbs today. No, we're not. We're not going to do that. So Mariah can stay and so can Phil. Sorry.
I only really wanted to bring Mariah back because I wanted to see the hash out between Jasmine and her with the situation at hand or whatever. But yeah, I agree on that whole we gotta meditate and moonlight for hours and on end. And then on top of it, she's very passive aggressive too, Kojo, because she didn't really explain how it made her feel that everybody didn't really participate in it with her or whatever. Which we see that I guess different nights, different people get to do things. And so that was her night. But then she goes out the next day or didn't want to go out the next day with them because of the whole incident, but doesn't really explain why she's kind of off put from everybody. Plus she's a loner anyway. And she complained that well, I could have been at home with my son. I left my son or whatever, but I wanted her there. I would have liked to have her there because I would have liked to get more of that backstory and that thing up between her and Jasmine living in a car together and how they navigated all of that. But I agree, Sean. They can both stay gone. We're gonna see if they get the votes though, because it looked like Bria gonna put her foot down, and Mariah won't be coming ever back again, long as Bria is there. They got the tussling over Milo's hair being everywhere, and yada yada. So we gonna see. We gonna see. Any other thoughts before we get on up out of here and whatnot? We're looking forward to more of this season because baby, these people. I don't know. All right. Well, Sean, you want to give us some last words? You good at those before we get up out of here. I'm sorry. Over here on this channel, we call them last calls. We got the last calls over here. I know on Coach O's is the benediction. This gonna be a little interesting mashup because
get one more drink.
Yeah, we drinking the communion wine then today right now. We on communion wine. So before we pass the last round of communion wine out, Sean, you want to give any cheers and toast to it?
Yeah, so we can cheers and toast to communication in friendships and relationships. When we communicate, we get better outcomes. You got to communicate when it comes to your intimate expectations. You got to communicate in what you want and what you don't want. And you have to communicate when somebody does something you don't like. You got to let them know.
That's right. Let them know, or let them go. One of the two, baby. One of the two. Thank you all for being with us, whether you're on Little Black Books channel or you're on another round. We appreciate all the love. Shout out to the newest member. You're out here. And listen, the membership are open on both channels. Please feel free to join and do us a solid. We don't ask for much. We just ask for the only, solid tip of liking the channel. If you hit the like, you share it with a friend, and you subscribe. Those are all tips to us. So just go ahead and hit the tip jar a couple of times for us. We appreciate you all. Please. Coach, you got anything coming up you want them to know?
Tomorrow we've got Alonzo at 5:30 p.m. EST. So we'll have Alonzo on the channel, and then I'll talk to Maya and get her on as well. So yeah, just have a look out for that.
So make sure y'all subscribe and hit that notification bell so y'all be in the loop when he has those lives coming up with those interviews with Ready to Love cast. Alonzo tomorrow on Little Black Book 91 channel at 5:30 EST. Y'all put that in y'all notifications now so y'all don't forget. All right. We're going to love y'all and we're going to leave y'all. Y'all have a great Tuesday. Appreciate y'all being with us. Y'all be safe out there. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9. It's just a joke. Come on. Don't shoot. Don't really. Don't shoot.